Bit stretch, bit stretch, bit stretch. All right. I would like to talk to my adjutant, please. What's the last of Theodora? I wish to know about my fellow crew members. I want to know about the people who buy our plunder. Of course, Captain. Who interests you exactly? What do the vows of Saint Terrasus acquire from us? Most expansion, a warm embrace of the faith. Vlatos receive aid from the group's mission. Each crate of food, shipment of clothes, or box of medicine marked with your seals, a sign of the road trader himself. So food, medicine, clothes. Match the toll trade, immortal crime. Footfall of Taurus, he trusted ally wrote to the Ministale. He would not refuse you, although the Emperor anointed. Explorators. Played show up on inhabited worlds, tracking down Mertile relics and sniffing out Xenos artifacts. Okay. So mechanical relics and Xenos artifacts. Questions I'll turn to you later. Abelard.
Lord Captain.
I'd like to know more about my seneschal.
As you wish, Lord Captain. What would you like to know?
Do you have a family?
I am a widower. I am a father of 4, and if my information is not outdated, a grandfather of 11.
Oh, yeah.
My family lives on Dargonus. None of my children express any eagerness or aptitude for serving aboard ship, and I would hardly have insisted that they follow in my footsteps.
Tell myself, what were you before you became Theodora Seneschal?
An officer in the Navis Imperialis. No, a used to be is not quite right. It was not simply a job. It was my calling, the essence of my life.
You're still a nobleman aboard a void ship.
To serve Lord Captain Theodora.
An officer aboard a void ship.
I'm still an officer of the Imperium.
Alright.
I met Lord Captain Theodora on a mission where the Imperial Navy was providing reinforcements to the rogue traders' army on one of the frontier worlds. Our acquaintance was not easy. Working with people outside the Navy hierarchy has never been my strong suit. It was to my great surprise then, that after the mission's completion, I received a referral to leave my service in the Navy and join the rogue traders' personal council.
She thought you were worthwhile.
It was a difficult choice for me. But I saw in the offer a chance to serve the interests of humanity even more effectively than in the Navis Imperialis. You do not need me to tell you just how remarkable a person Lord Captain Theodora was. I recognized her at once as a true leader and formidable creative force. One who had built a protectorate amidst the dangers and wildness of the Expanse.
Your post in the Navy is far from easy. Were you permitted to quit your post?
You could say there was no one among the Naval Command who was willing to impede the wishes of the rogue trader. To do so would be to risk their own position and their relationship with Theodora. Well, the Lord Captain possessed certain contacts in the Imperial Navy. Contacts which she used to request help during the conflict on the border world. And which enabled her to make me an offer that resulted in my joining her retinue.
Powerful woman.
The Navis Imperialis is an ancient institution with its own mandates and muster lists. On occasion, in the heat of an official briefing, or an informal discussion, I violated those rules, determined to press my point. It is challenging to choose the words to accurately express my opinion on a situation or the actions of others that do not sound overly scathing or confrontational. Many in command were inclined to view my manner of speaking as unbefitting a person of my rank. What? Lord Captain, any allegations of improper feelings or unsanctioned relations are utterly baseless and bordering on the insulting. Utterly baseless.
Of course, utterly
Of
baseless.
course. A noble aspiration, Lord Captain. I am ready to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you.
What can you tell me about his betrayal?
You know, Lord Captain, I am no
Would it you a bolt pistol?
He is sure to attempt to strike at you, and he will use his contacts and knowledge of the Protectorate to do so. The only question, Lord Captain, is whether you will be able to anticipate his next steps.
That is all for now.
As you wish, Lord Captain.
You may tell me why first thing if you wish.
Thank you for the honor, but I must decline. As a former military officer, I believe in the importance of order in all things, including the chain of command. You are the Lord Captain, my direct superior. I am not prepared to address you in any way other than as regulation dictates.
As you wish.
Lord Captain.
Jasta Sauerbeck? Greeting, Lord Captain. Very picture discipline in her uniform is switched pressed armor polish and her posture imposed and rigid. The only flaw in her immaculate appearance is that heavy enforcer maul, which is worn and battered from frequent use. She salutes you with a practice motion. Imperial 8 Navy armor. How did you come by it? Inherited from the Brever Master of Arms, like his team Seneschal, he left the Navy to serve Lady Theodora. He brought quite a few officers with him and established traditions. Upon the death of resignation of an enforcer, his or her armor will be passed on to a fellow enforcer who had distinguished themselves in the course of their duties. I was awarded armor this way in my time, and upon the death of my predecessor, I inherited his personal armor. Think about the other officers. I do not trust them, but I do not trust anyone. Mistress Tolman has too much power and will surely be tempted to start deciding for herself what information to share with the crew on your behalf and what to withhold. Revar is closely intertwined with the ship's systems, which opens up plenty of opportunities for sabotage. You must be watched. As for Dentor, forgive me, but a man of his size and habits cannot help but steal. Can you tell me about Abelard? Seneschal is the model of competence and fidelity, and all the officers and enforcers look up to him with gratitude. A grimace of fierce devotion takes hold of Saubet's face before abruptly grits her teeth and continues. It is all the more distressing to see that the years have not been kind to the deeply respected Master Worshian. Soon, there will be no rejuvenant treatment that can save him from the mistakes inherent in such advanced age. But we are ever watchful and will be there to steady the trembling hand of the honored veteran if need be. Okay. Proud to serve the dynasty. And then back here. No one that matters. Oh wait, no, they'd be up at the front. We still need to find a shield. Sister Argenta.
Rogue trader.
Looks tired and there are dark circles under her eyes. Her hair is somewhat disheveled and she moves like she's a little on edge. You have a personal request for me.
I indeed have a request, Rogue trader.
Speak it.
The accursed servants of Chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in Von Valancius territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the rogue trader could meet with the orphans?
You should feel they shouldn't have if they lose, not the world and its rulers care about them. I will have no part in this. I will meet with them. No formalities needed.
I will pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart.
You are welcome. Oh, we're doing this now. A motley group of adolescents do not take their eyes off you, gazing at you as if you were a creature straight from a fairy tale. Our infallible sister has been keeping an eye on these pups. Evelyn glares at the gathered children. It's hardly the style of progenium in here, but we have provided the orphans on our ship with adequate care and instruction. Argenta, standing to the side of the group at your approach, she perks up and announces with her voice ringing, "Brave ones, the master of this ship has appeared before you. The one who guides it through the darkness of the universe by the Emperor's will. Greet your Lord Captain, the road trader of House Von Valancius. You notice Infernus Master Enric Montad standing a few paces away from the orphan. He watches you with approval and bows respectfully when you meet his gaze. Entreat and escort them to their homes. I will leave a minute of beholding the Lord Captain's great enough honor for them. Infernus, Infernus Master, do you serve as a teacher in your spare time? Not at all, your lordship. I'm just looking out for them. It's the Infernus way to help folks in trouble. It's our job after all. So we chip in rations here and there. Make sure nobody gives them a hard time. We take the older ones into the clan's care if they want. Many in the guild are not our family, but by blood, but by circumstance. The Lord Captains greets you, brave ones. Teenager keeps staring at you. A girl who has remained close to Argenta smiles uncertainly. A skinny, pale lad tries to throw his shoulder back and stand at attention like a soldier. Only a few teenagers at the far end of the row seem sullen and not particularly impressed. One of the scowling visitors with a thin star across his face tosses his head back and says barely, "So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in the dozens for you noble lot, and you just give us speeches." Quickly turns to the boy, a flurry of emotion flashes in her eyes, like she wants both to calm him and stall him for his impertinence. Their comportment leaves much to be desired. I hope they will be molded into worthy servants of House Valancius. This audience is over. So you are concerned about the orphans. You won't recognize them in a year or two. They will learn to salute and speak only when permitted by the superior officer. But right now, clowning around is all they know. Argenta rubs her temples pensively. She smiles and offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. That's part of our labor issue solved. Hell yeah. Enric Montage. Furnace Master nonchalantly lights up a low stick from a thermal cutter and spreads his arm in a welcoming gesture. Enric Montage at your service. He smells the cinders and io. His face is sooty and his belt is laden with a number of heavy tools. You would have taken him for a laborer if it weren't for the greasy and ragged officer's uniform. He narrows his eyes, studying your face, and says with a visible relief, It's only tales after all. You don't look like a bringer of woes to me. Tell me about the Infernus Guild. What interests you most? Our duty, our state-of-the-art equipment, or the vibrant traditions? State-of-the-art equipment? That sounds interesting. It's a bit of a stretch. I'm sorry. There is no state-of-the-art equipment. The risk of ruining it in a fire is too great. We do by using human resources, the most common items available: respirators and fire extinguishers and flame-retardant uniforms. Let's face it, the lives of Infernae are not worth much. It's more important that we save the machines and minimize damage to the ship. What traditions? We have plenty of those, like the reminders. Enred rolls up his sleeve, revealing a tattoo inscribed over an old burn mark. When you survive a particular hopeless accident, you get a tattoo on your scar. You can always tell an experienced Inferni by their ink. It's like a badge of honor of sorts. That's all I need to know for now. So I'm looking for... what's her name? Where the hell is she? She said she'd be on the bridge when I want to talk to her. There's Argenta. Where's Zandari? Tell me it's the vessel, main vessel. I wish to bolster morale of my crew. It's done, your lordship. There she is.
Tells me it's a bad idea.
Idira. And the tall middle-aged woman stares straight ahead, her eyes vacant, as she rubs her implants at her temple. Her collar is undone, and one of the clasps is on the verge of falling off. Sensing your presence, Idira turns her head towards you and offers you a crooked smile, even as her eyes look right through you. Looking at Audrey, Idira, what awaits me in the future?
All right, let's hear what they're whispering about you.
She shoves her hands down and suddenly freezing with a vacant smile on her face, her head slightly tilted, her face. You feel goosebumps appear on your skin, and your collar begin to waver, ever so slightly, as if moved by a breeze from a half-open door.
Sit not on firm ground, but in a golden hall suspended in the void. There waits a child without kin, but with a name blind to truth. She draws the brush across the canvas and does not notice that her palette is full not of paint, but of blood. And with each smear, this well does not deplete, but fills and fills up to the brim. One thing is clear. When this vessel overflows, none will remain unstained.
Okay.
Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know that it is not the answer he must seek, but the question that will draw everything into focus. Will you help him, rogue trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion. A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, but sparks in the scent of oil confound his nose. A chain trails after him. What will happen if you pick it up? Will you become his master, or merely another beast in the pack of his true lord? The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. Cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it?
Hmm.
I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
Seems to strain between you two.
Sister is afflicted with her own set of voices. Ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head.
I'll take my leave. Come this way. Astropathic Chapel? Huh. First off, head to my quarters. Open the vault. Nothing in there. Wait, what's that? If the injury falls unconscious in combat, the allies get a +1 bonus to damage until the end of turn. Throw it action used in combat. In battle, increases the wearer's dodge by 20% to the end of combat. Grants 5% fellowship. I'll keep the fellowship for now. Face of the Sovereign. With all that. Heirloom auto pistol. I believe I'll be taking that. Crystal inflict a melting effect, +5 persuasion. So that's 6 to 9. 4 to 6. Push charges 3 cells away, even if the shot misses. Then you're going to take that. You are going to take that. Put that on. Put that on. And +5 to all characteristics. -5, receives 5 less damage from critical hits, +10 coercion. That does more damage. Okay, that should be good for that. Claim my rewards. You bitch. I think there might be stuff in my room. Yep, right there. Final transmission. Charis, complete fire reckoning. It's now fully equipped. The object's been loaded aboard. Its containment intact and placed in the forebay to ensure maximum contact with the target. Coordinates sent and received. Target estimated time to arrival on system. The fiery reckoning strewed by a servitor hive. Chances of the ship returning are minimal. Cost too much. Here's a work. Oh, don't want to change my appearance. Take a bath, your lordship. Perform your ablution. While the rest of your senses, you get in your grateful muscles. Welcome the chance to rest. Pleasant languor spreads through your body as you allow yourself a moment of quiet relaxation. Relax and close your eyes. Retreat as you bring yourself to complete stillness, joint by joint, muscle by muscle, pore by pore. Before long, you have surrendered to the baptism in your body in bliss oblivion. Troubles, worries, loss, such things do not belong in a newly established domain of tranquility. There are only the infinite waters and weightlessness in which, stripped of all things superficial, the mind of Ignatius drifts in silent bliss. It is a conscious mind. What fills this consciousness? Thoughts of those who keep him afloat in these waters, who will drown, who will he manage to pull to the surface? Aha, 3 more iconoclast. Finish? The eyes of this fierce monster forever captured the fear and pain of its final moments. Well-deserved rest. A higher initiative in the next combat. A one-time bonus that disappears after the combat ends. Still handy. Especially if you know like a boss is coming up or some shit. speed. Astropath at Chapel. That's my party. Why? What's going on in the chapel?
Ugh, they're staring at me with their burnt eyes like I'm a leper. I'm just passing through, all right? So you lots can calm down.
Do the logic check.
This is the only
The
outcome
machine
I
uses its
accept.
many twists to commit astropathic whispers to paper. Hey, we got goods over here.
Rise to the top.
Now all the way
Yellow
over to the
and
other
ghost.
side. What's over here? The drills, you can see enormous outlines of formidable machines. Oh. The last beacon cannot be saved from the 13th storm. The lapsed father, beloved son, will open his yawning eye. His yawning maw. Oblivion is inevitable. After the boundary sunset comes the horrific sunrise, brought forth into the willing world from the womb of someone. Shoot this man! Oh, he burned out. That's when we saw one burnout so far. It's kind of shocking. Astropaths burn out like a motherfucker. Before we talk to the main guy,
Just as I planned.
that's ready for final inscription. The compiler sends it to the choir master to do other shit with.
That's how it's done. Keep your wits about you.
Voices blend to an unnatural unison. The longer you listen to the choral chant, the stronger the headache becomes. And the stream of symbols fills the paper tapes. Choir master Zachary Watts, a tall old man, laundry and robe, stands motionless in front of the codestator. The closer you approach, the clearer you can hear his continuous, unintelligible whispers. You are about to call his name when he falls silent sharply and turns to you. Lord Captain. This from Road Trainer is an honor to us. Like other astropaths in the chapel, the choir master's eyes are bandaged over with time-worn scrolls of sacred manuscripts. Nevertheless, he cannot shake the feeling that his otherworldly glowing gaze is studying you keenly. How can I be of use, your lordship? Sanctioning is a brutal procedure, but one which robes the every astropath of the site, but in return they gain a new kind of vision that allows them to see what ordinary people cannot. The light emanating from beneath his bandages flickers with a strange hue as the Twilight Master clutches his temple. His expression shifts in a way you were well familiar with. It looks like one of those who has glimpsed the grim signs that evil has left upon your soul. The odd noise inside the chapel does not bother you. I've witnessed the death of one of the astropaths. What happened? May the God Emperor rest his soul and protect him from the ruinous powers, tenacious claws. He is the 5th one this month. Our younger voices cannot handle the warp storms raging in the expanse. They end up losing their minds, he adds, barely audible, if they are lucky. I just put inside the mall, Lord Captain, something infinitely sinister, something disastrous. The scraps of mental images that reach us from the Imperium carry the mark of doom, and images emanating from there are like beasts bearing its teeth. You have heard accounts of disturbances in the warp affecting sectors, especially astropaths. They delve most deeply into the Imperium, but they have been more and more alarming stories of something raging in the warp, something that passed a particular threat to those with psychic power. You must tend to your choir. I shall have good food, recap, and relaxing balms are delivered. Perhaps these small indulgences will give them strength to save someone's life. We'll speak later.
Always keep your eye on the price.
Wait, yeah, I searched all this. That's the wrong way, so this way. To another compartment. Void Ship Shrine. Oof, my bat just popped.
Success is the only outcome I
Change over without a fuel engine rests on the rat. The shape of its teeth marked I think Alma Univalis, a pattern from the Agavine Crusade.
I always keep my options open.
Nope. I am looking for goods. Offer a prayer. Prayer. Here's a prayer, the one you remember best. We'll should we save Storm Chats?
Just as I planned.
Among the antique weapons, you spot a maul known as Fremen Fatnum. Legend has it that its head split when cracking open the skull of a loathsome demon, Branzar the Flayer. The Emperor protect your lordship. Are you here to pray or have mundane matters brought to me? I'm not. I'm interested to know the thoughts of many of my subjects. Ours is a throne-fearing flock that regularly leaves Vox recordings in the shrine, confessing Shrine Confessional housed in the eastern part of the rectory. This allows us to maintain constant watch of any retro tendencies, and observe the earnesty with which the parishioners render their duties, as well as any dangerous dissent brewing in their minds. Initiate Klatos is responsible for sorting the confessions. He would be honored to offer you access to the professional cogitator. Talk to him. Grant me understanding, master. Grant me wisdom, your lordship. How can I be of service? Listen, you're having difficulties. Nothing escapes your lordship's notice as it happens. I am struggling to categorize three rather particular confessions. I wouldn't have dared tell you about them, but I think they may have been left by senior officers, which would make it a matter of the highest order, one that is far beyond my meager understanding. These confessions, you see, they are far from being examples of pious conformity. I dread the very thought of dissent or heresy poisoning the minds of some of the most eminent members of our crew, but I cannot change what I heard. I cannot share this with anyone but the Emperor's anointed, nor can I allow anyone but your lordship to listen to these messages, protected by the secrecy confession. Let me hear them. The initiate steps aside, putting the cogitator at your disposal. Impious doubt. One question has troubled me over the years. Why are some destined to perish in the warp while others go on living and preserve the memory of the dead? Worthier more luminous souls have been lost, and yet I am still alive. Light stat is distorting the recording, but you are confident the speaker is a male. The orphans on the ship have already been provided with the bare essentials, but every so often I consider increasing their rations and ordering more sets of clothes for them. It will not replace the families they lost, but it will improve their lives somewhat, especially given that the ship has enough resources to cover the comparably trivial expense. Despite the poor sound quality, you determined the voice to be male. You have heard the bridge officers gossiping about the high Fatum has taken personal charge of the orphans. Lop-eared Kleppas display a high degree of socialization both among their kind and towards their owners. These animals adjust well to avoid ship lower gravity since it's familiar to the homeworld's conditions. Lop-eared Kleppa meat is edible should necessity demand. The voice sounds muffled as thrown bare a thick layered glass, but is unmistakably a woman. Irrelevance? Step away from the cogitator. What makes you think these confessions were made by senior officers? These parishioners are well-spoken, meaning they are used to addressing an audience. Perhaps they issue orders and are vested with power. As well, after categorizing so many confessions, I have learned to notice the subtle differences between them. Curious to know who left these confessions, I will seek them out. I suppose those confessions truly are special, your lordship. It is given them its personal attention. Never would I have imagined the road trader himself. I will leave you to your concerns. Voidship Bridge. Where are you, Janice? Here's a name for our Rethaning. From what I can tell, it's a void ship of some sort. There are mentions of it in Theodore's documents I found. Let's replace the retinues of the late Theodore in my chambers. In my portrait instead. What have we done, your lordship? Have you made a confession lately? Your lordship, you are truly masterful at springing unexpected questions on a man. However, I must admit, I don't quite understand. Why are some destined to perish in the warp while others must go on living? Philosophical question. I imagine it is due to accomplishments of experience, luck, and most of all, Emperor's favor. I will pry into how your lordship found out about my confession. I suppose it raises some questions for you. You are not scheming to misappropriate funds for orphans' benefits, are you? I'm willing to allocate extra resources to provide for the orphans. As am I. To tell the truth, sensitivity is a vice in one's responsibilities for ensuring the dynasty's prosperity. However, I cannot help it, which is why I unburdened my soul in confession. I'm willing to allocate extra resources to provide for the orphans. I marvel at your generosity. Will there be any specific instructions? Make sure they get things that will bring them little moments of joy, sweets, toys. They deserve it. No spoiling the children. Only spend thrones on things that would keep them healthy, food, warm clothes, and training. Educate them so they may grow up to be greater. Use to the ship. Assign teachers, supply books, and commend the best students with gifts. A wise decision, your lordship. Two serfs with one shot. That is to say, it is good to know that the children will both learn and be rewarded for their diligence. The fiery reckoning. I'm afraid it is not immediately familiar to me, your lordship. Please allow me a moment. I see Von Valsius did indeed sign a contract with the owners of a vessel with the designation Fiery Reckoning. There are transaction records of the ship picking up cargo from Kivadama, which is odd. The data ends there. Apparently the ship had some interaction with one of the workshops on the industrial world. I beg your pardon, your lordship, but this is the extent of the assistance I can provide you in regards to this particular matter. Time to actually move on from my ship for a little bit, and we can always come back and check out other things. I was asking to speak to you via private channel. During your lordship, I can report that the Dwyer is listening tirelessly to the Materium and hopes of picking up voices from the Dynasty ships or worlds. However, we have heard something horrifying instead. Amid the immaterial turmoil, something is screaming. Screaming is driving your Dwyer mad. Until it stops, we have no hopes of contacting any of the Dynasty roads. It is coming from Rykard Systems Atropathic Station. We're going to pay a visit to that station. Deploy a scouting team. The enforcers offer their prayer to proceed to enter the oncoming station. While they saw inside was monstrous astropaths, found their thrones, not quite here, not quite now, smudged as it were across time. Servants reliving their horrific deaths again and again, only the reborn out of the ashes and blood into a more agony. A moment later, the warp manifests itself here, twisting the very nature of existence. The main hall is covered with a crusted cycanic ice. The green-robed blind old man sat motionless upon the tall throne, who was quite literally embedded in the ice. Yet, he was still alive, screaming. Zachary Wise into the station with a squad of bodyguards. Master Wise boarded the station in person and proceeded to the Dwyer Hall. He stood silently for hours in front of a man frozen in ice and held a telepathic conversation with him. Then Master Wise offered a prayer to the God Emperor, and the unfortunate man passed away. Upon returning to the ship, Wise reverently presented the Lord Captain with a dream trophy, the Lord Troyermaster's amulet, taken from the frozen body after his death. The sight that shrieks staring across the material had been silenced, but this has brought the true no relief. A chilling realization came to the astropaths when they discovered that Tri was making a different sound, one even more terrifying and surreal. It was a melody of a catastrophic cataclysm born from a warp storm that had power so intense that the entire expanse must be able to hear it. It muffles astropathic messages and crawls into Cypher's minds, invoking everywhere the same image, a dark, gasping, beastly mouth, cleaving the universe in two. But the mad choir master has finally stopped screaming, and the song of the Immaterium has reached the Rogue Trader's void ship too. Order the station to be explored. A brief and chilling chronicle of the station's doom was found by the tribes. Records, a warp disturbance of monstrous proportions wiped out half the choir at once, turning the astropaths into living portals, through which torments of immaterial energies poured out. Those who lasted longer bellowed and howled about the black rift and had split the universe into before and after, and a darkness that would devour the Astronomicon's light. Burn everything. Void torpedoes shatter the fragile station, your only hope that the unfortunate souls captured by the warp have perished along with their home. Landing. We got goods.
Repentance in prison is but a weak shadow of a true transformation.
Informed by sight, the wearer gains immunity to horrors of the warp effects.
And cloaking the soul in flame, can one earn absolution?
Wherever the word falls, glove is injured. You take that. Part of me wants to give you a shotgun, but not at the moment.
Sometimes it suits the Imperium's functionaries to have a criminal spend the rest of his days toiling in a pit, working for the good of the righteous, until his
Affirmative. Escort. Everything is calm on this end. Bakera out. Your Lordship, 1,000 pardons. I address you improperly. Have you come on behalf of Governor Medina, or are you here on other business? If this is the latter, you ought to know there's been a riot at the local prison. It's quite dangerous. Abelard, teach us the proper way to address her sovereign. Officer, this person before you is Ignis von Valchius, a rogue trader. Although you are, from what I gather, a subject of another dynasty, you would do well to introduce yourself with a proper decorum. At once, sir. The woman stands at attention. Captain Raquel Vatari, servant of House Winterscale and pilot of this shuttle. It is an honor to be greeting His Lordship von Valachius. Looking for a man by the name of Henrich von Callis. Is he here, perhaps? Unless he's one of the prisoners or guards, then it seems unlikely. There is no shuttle in working order other than yours and mine. There is nothing else anyone could have used to reach this place. What happened here? There's been a prison riot on the planetoid. Sadly, he's being led by the prison warden himself, an honored Anathagian. The honored Anathadian Castadilla. He has allied himself with the rabble, and he himself is supposed to watch and declared Rykard Fella to be independent of the authority of the system's lawful governor. I came here as a shuttle pilot alongside the Honorable Evelyn Winterscale, son of Telegus Winterscale, road trader. Venture Xenos forever triumphant over the enemies of humanity. She details enunciating every word of her overlord's title. And Lord Winterscale wishes to speak to the warden personally. The honorable lord means to put an end to the lawless treason, and his escort left to meet the insurgents. She went to Rykard Fialis as soon as he could, while I was ordered to await their return. Envia, Evelyn muttered, stroking his beard. One of his distant young offsprings. Yes, that's as much as I know about him. Which means he hasn't distinguished himself in any meaningful way. Why would the young Winterscale felt the need to parley with dissidents? It's a personal matter. Master Chaldria and the seditious warden is Lord Evelyn's shouted friend. When my lord heard of the riots, the news saddened him greatly, and he rushed here without delay, in hopes to bring his old friend to his senses, no doubt. The first Winterscale in my memory who prefers to talk rather than shoot and slash. She smiles slightly. You're quite right. Young Lord Winterscale is not his father's shadow. He is determined to save his friend. He would try to do so no matter what obstacles are in the way. The warden himself is spearheading the riot? Yes, no one expected the master cast a nobleman with a respected governor house and a vassal to House Winterscale. No one expected this. Master Castadilla is a nobleman from a respected governor house and a vassal to the House Winterscale. All of a sudden, he proclaimed that Rykard Fella was his own personal domain, and the prisoners were his subjects, and that he would never bow to anyone again. It was pure heresy. And I take it they're looking forward to a diet of sand and gravel? What kind of madman would start a revolt on a barren rock? Tell me about the Planetoid. Run right to Primera is a penal colony. How's it going, Lore Master? It's a penal colony that prisoners work in the mines or do in the domed quarries. The mine sulfur, ceramic dust, and sand, which then they melt down. A rather nondescript place, or so it was prior to current events. Is there anything else I should know before I set out? Some of the rebels have holed up in the barracks. I don't know how many, but given that this is the only way through to where the negotiations are taking place, I would expect heavy resistance. Please take caution, your lordship. Lord Winterscale guards mind the entrance so the rebels couldn't get to the shuttle. All that's working. I have no more questions. You may excuse yourself, pilot. Your lordship, if I may have a minute of your time, I wouldn't ever have dared to trouble you with a personal matter of the situation in any case. Have you been to the capital of Rykard Minoris yet? I wanted to ask if you saw a man there, a communication officer by the name of Jasper. I have not yet been to Rykard Minoris and know nothing of this officer's fate. That's a shame. May the Emperor keep you from harm again. I don't dare delay any further. Good luck on your lordship. I will contact Lord Evelyn's party over the bots and inform them of your coming. I think the button started, but nothing is broadcasting. Fine to me. All right. Deactivate that, please. dredge that way. Darpo's been vacant for a long time. There's a layer of dust on the surface. Build a bridge. To the Barretts.
Cast your eye there.
What's up there? Argenta.
With a feeling of wonder, as if a field of flowers was blossoming. You left the Navis Imperialis to serve the rogue trader. Do you ever regret it, Seneschal?
No, I do not regret it in the least.
Level up.
Serving in the Imperial Navy is a fine thing to do. But it was only under Lady Theodora that I truly felt the significance of what I was doing.
He's a road at. Range of officer ability is increased by +3. Range of voice of command is increased by +6. The officer targets an ally with an ability for the first time in a round. The ally gains +4 temporary wounds. I have an action. Where was I up? Action ability or an attack. The ally's resolve is increased by +1 until the end of the officer's next turn. This affects stats and is prolonged until the end of the officer's next turn each time it stats. So resolve is increased by +3. Damage more ballistic still. Let's see. Warrior marks a target getting +20 armor and +6 damage on melee attacks against that target. The target attacks the warrior during this round. The warrior gains +1 AP once per round. Drive athletics. Features sanctioned citer. Another citer deals mental damage from any source other than aftershock. Target suffers half as much mental damage at the end of their next turn. Creating a cited phenomenon or perils of the warp. First time each turn, the citer's next cited power costs -1 action points. The peril of the warp increases the momentum by +12. I need a strength 45 for power armor. The citer set to powers have a range of 2 cells more and have the range increased. The enemy that is at full wounds, the attack deals 14% more damage to that enemy. greatly appreciate you having a fuck ton of willpower. You ballistic skill. Which is a sign that they're about to open fire. The soldier and their allies will automatically dodge the soldier's next attack. Soldier's next ranged burst attack will have its base rate of fire doubled and deal minus 25% damage. All the shots will follow random trajectories. Only where weapon staple will burst fire. The soldier uses run and gun. They gain back all spent AP and MP plus 1 additional AP. It also resets the cooldown on all the soldier's abilities except for run and gun. Concentrate fire, please.
This ocular implant was a worthwhile investment.
Is there money to be made?
I failed.
Yeah, either way, it stopped it.
Your seneschal is always there for you. Let's patch you up.
Ministration is a holy task.
Because I have cleave on it. Alright, we got someone coming.
You will beg for mercy, but I will grant none. Surrender to the dark powers!
Well, we are ambushed. Move to here.
On it.
So I'm going to be throwing you right up front here in a second. That's guaranteed. 2 down. Ah, we got more coming from that way too. That goes on you.
Or will do. Farewell.
Friend you out.
Death to non-believers!
Just a
Fuck the grenade.
Mocking me.
Get over to here.
God Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart. Doubt is
Please
for the
kill
weak,
him.
each strike is a
Good
prayer.
shit.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Run and gun to here.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Not gonna kill him, but use that next time. Move to here.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time.
Charge.
I will do my duty.
Strike this fucker. You shall endure. Get fucking bent.
Chaos guides me.
Go ahead and step in. It's not going to be a good move for you.
Taking calculated risk is my second nature.
Switch to this.
Who, if not me? Your end was inevitable. It's as good as done.
Get to him.
I took care of this one.
Very good. You shall do your best.
Anything
Nail
else?
him.
What an unfortunate turn of fate.
Out of my way.
Congratulations. You missed. You sucked dick.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury. I'll do it.
Concentrate fire.
As the
Nail
Emperor
him.
commands, none can escape the Emperor's judgment.
Got one left. Nebula's about to fuck this boy up.
At your beck and call. Grey hair, sure hand. For Von Valancius.
I just want this fight done.
Victory is imminent. I will do my duty.
Good shit. Got some flak. I'm reducing enemy damage of an average enemy attack in this chapter by minus 10%. Stub revolver, force grenade. So what, they just all had knives? Spent the poster.
Over.
Some edges of the poster. Okay.
Keep your wits about you.
Oh, we got something right here. Said to me, Jesse just came down to the shuttle, Janeway, soliciting Throne Damwilla, former administrative clerk. No, the clerk, the very same scum who lost the writ about the missing payment. He's the reason I'm in this hole. Okay, so someone came down who was a fucker. Serrated mono knife. It's better than the sword. And there's chainmail. We put that on. You're already wearing heavy. 70% dodge. Throw that on. Okay. That's around here, right?
Argenta, don't you find it difficult to be without your sisters? You are a soldier without a squad.
I will fight alongside my sisters again. But my present fate is not a burden to me. No matter where I go, or who I am with, I bring death to heretics. That
Prison
is
guard
what
key.
matters.
Prison Diary Part 3. That zinc shit.
The premonition runs true.
There's the familiar scent of the dark force of the chaos.
I always keep my options open.
Alright, this way we go.
I always get the job done.
Open that. Brethren, the dawn and eyes, omnipotent, to guide us to the new existence. Yes, yes, dear brethren, have a taste of my steel. I'll holler long for this, my dear brethren. Thank the throne, normal-looking faces. We thought we were going to die here with these nutters. Please don't shoot us. Your nobleness, let us speak a word. This is what them changed. Talking about shooting still, Lord Captain. The look of this ragtag bunch hardly inspires trust. Give me a reason not to execute you on the spot. We're honest for an image. We didn't want to riot, but well, sitting it out wasn't really an option either. The warden's lapdogs have made short work of those who refused to join the festivities, so we had to, play along. But that's all it was, play. We never meant no offense to Governor Medina, nor the lawful authorities of House Wintersdale. Give us a chance, eh? Well, until everything blows over, we can go back to ourselves and try to do the rest of our time. But I'm this heretic. How novel. Judging from Aberlin's tone, Senesto was utterly unimpressed by the old man's ingratiating monologue. I spare you. What do I gain from it? Well, how can lowly jailbirds hope to thank you, noble? Ah, I have an inkling. You see, us here? How should I put this? Different from the rest of the prisoners displaced. They're all petty thieves from right to my nose. Debtors, snipes. There's no one serious. Now we, your nominous, we're cut for different cloths altogether. We're fortune seekers from the void. You're pirates. Consider your request denied. Loot, loot, loot. Break it down.
Prevails.
Oh, it's a peculiar thing.
More goods. Bow hammer. 9 to 14. Okay, so that's going on our other one. Where used to endure, they immediately remove one of the effects on them in the following order: burning, toxic, bleeding. Diviner staff.
Should I divine our next step?
What are you using right now? You're just using a psychic staff. Grab your diviner staff. better for you. That's 7 to 12. That's 9 to 14. That's the main level.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
Or go out this one. Wait.
That's how it's done.
At Lasgun. There we go. Clumps of dust. Check over
Rise
in
to the
this
top,
area.
or get left in the dust.
Alright. Good thing I saw that. Build bridge. Wintersteel Enforcer. You.
Is there money to be made?
Lord Mavouches, my greetings. May the light of eternal terror shine forever. The young man before you offers impeccable, courteous bow, then straightens his back and looks at you in the eye, not a show of defiance, but with cool confidence, the gaze of which one graces at an equal. Friend of Wintersteel, younger son of Calgeus Wintersteel, at your service. Lord Innes von Calcis, I am pleased to make your acquaintance. As am I. Everyone's voice is soft and immaculately polite. Please accept my apologies for the slight breach of etiquette. Here and now is neither the best place nor time for protracted ceremony. You are here to end the riot, are you not? Indeed, my personal matter, if you will, and not simply because this indecent occurrence in the system that belongs to my father, the prison warden. He used to be a close friend of mine once. I want to give him a chance to come to his senses, lay down his weapons, and stop the senseless uprising. Now, sound mind, at one point he was trying to manage the inmates by offering incentives, even days of rest. What utter madness. Sending clemency to a heretic? Are you in your right mind? He lowers his head subtly. He is my friend and my father's vassal. I do not deny his guilt, but I intend to give him a chance to atone for it. I can dissuade you from this escapade of yours. May go see your friend. Far be it from me to try and stop you from losing your head. Must admit, I do appreciate your company. The prison has given me a strong sense of unease, but the lift cannot support both our parties. If you go in ahead, wait for us in the quarry. We will follow you shortly.
I always have a backup plan.
Did I miss any loot back here? No, I did not. To the open pit. Probably should have had another guy or two with us, but it'll be okay. Casadilla. Who are you? I was expecting my friend Evelyn for not an intrusion. And your wait is over. However, I do not come alone. I am accompanied by the Honorable Lord Van Valchius. I should have guessed it'd be you. What do you want, enemy of Aurora? The warden's words are suddenly drawn out by a chorus of voices in your head. The entity that still dwells in the recesses of your mind rejoices in a cacophony of tries. This place holds great significance for the entity. It is frantic chatting of the voices. You can almost make out words that speak of an ancient grave. One that was opened, for it contains a priceless treasure, a most coveted prize that was retrieved by the faithful after a centuries-long search. A value that was once buried here? Now tell me, Warden, what was the item and who took it from here? You're too late, enemy of the truth. This bastion has already fulfilled the great purpose. You will never find the trail that reclaimed the relic that now rests in the hands of the devout. Who is Aurora? Oh, so he managed to barge in here and interfere with the prophecy's design even without knowing who she is? But it is too late now. You will never attain sight. All you can do is accept fate. I do not like it when people take the prophecy's name in vain. I desire your death, enemy of the truth. Wait. Time has come. Words have passed. Optimates, give your power to the harbinger of Aurora. Let our foes see the truth or become awash in blood.
You make a suitable sacrifice.
Okay, so I don't have to break those. What's it up here? Abelard there. You up here. You there.
Out of my way. Let's make it quick.
I'm going first. Gotcha. They got a lot of guns over there.
I won't stand for it.
Move to here. Shotgun attached, reduce the dodge, parry, and block of targets in this area. Effect minus 25% for 1 round. Regardless of whether they are hit or not, damage from this attack is reduced by half.
I'll see to it personally.
Fuck you.
On it. I serve the ruinous powers.
Aha, you killed your own, killed your own guy. Eat a dick.
On it.
Need that there. What does this do? Let's say against the target would be an automatic critical hit. Let's kill him.
Farewell.
That's you. Throw stats on him.
I am your doom. Crush the feeble.
Good shot.
Chaos guides me.
Thank you for clearing my way. Shit, that was a waste.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Alright, she's done. Good shit. Abelard, I need you up here.
Is at the fore.
Mark him as sworn enemy. And him.
Reduced to dust. I'd rather not. It will be done.
Moved it there.
Hold on.
Step forward. Blast the son of a bitch.
I'll see to it personally.
Now hit the futter. So bring him back, isn't it? Yep. Got ya.
Death to the weak. I'll brush this off.
Up on this thing.
But of course. Anything else?
Throw that on me.
On it.
Stack up on him.
Here we go. Stay vigilant. Chaos guides me.
I'll do
Shoot
it.
that.
My ears are ringing.
You're doing fine, Abelard.
A tactically sound approach.
Can I get you up to him?
Victory is imminent.
Damn near.
At your beck and call.
Good hits.
Indeed.
Let's get to it.
Brace yourself,
Oof.
Abelard.
Out of my way.
Over to here.
I refuse.
I wanted this.
Don't let your guard down.
We
I'll
go.
make it happen. Out of my way!
My prescience has failed me.
Aha, bitch.
What is this foreboding?
Attack against an enemy in combat will be an automatic critical hit. That's fine. No one's within range.
Let's make it quick. Follow my lead.
I didn't have a fucking weapon out to parry.
Serve the ruinous powers.
is for the weak. In thy light I stand, and thy light I crave.
Let's try and break that fucking thing.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Hit. Come on, let us break it.
Pain and duty go hand in hand. I will do my duty.
Charge him.
At your back and one fewer target.
Alright,
It will
brace.
be done.
Let's get to it. Hold on.
It's breaking through this time.
I don't need luck. I have strategy.
Up to here.
It's as good as done. Chaos guides me.
There is movement in the Empyrean.
Move to there. Can I hit you? I can.
Here we go. Weapon at the ready. Death to non-believers. A temporary
Ow.
setback.
Guided by faith. Faith without deeds is...
You could do worse.
Butter.
Not by much.
I'll do it. Rejoice in battle!
Please hit. Nope.
At your beck and call.
Hit him.
Victory is imminent. I will do my duty.
Brace. Endure.
Let's get to it.
All I have to do is hold there. And him.
Another enemy down. Accept your lot.
Doubt is for the weak.
No reason you should miss this.
I'll do it. Faith without deeds is worthless.
One more.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Fucking dope. Alright, we can kill him now.
I won't compromise my principles. To the weak.
I know what is to come.
Bastard.
Out of my way. My faith strengthens me.
Alright, Abelard, feel free to whoop his ass.
God Emperor, move in my heart.
Favorite enemy.
Will be done. At your beck and call.
Whoop his fucking ass.
It will be done. Victory is imminent. I've suffered worse.
Oh yeah, I forgot just facing matters.
Quick! I won't stand for it. Chaos guides me.
At this point, we are just waiting. You can die.
What an unfortunate turn of fate.
Oh, fuck.
Anything else? But of course.
Let's get to it.
Good dodge.
Follow my lead.
She's fucking stuck right there. Okay, I need you to fucking die right now.
Indeed.
So I need him to fucking get over there and fucking end this.
Hold on. On it. I'll make it happen.
Doubt is for the weak.
Alright, so there's a 77% chance now.
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Oh shit.
I'll see to it personally.
There we go. Good dodge.
Was it you? Or will do. On it.
Then I'll break the stat.
Here we go. You never stood a chance.
Good. Oh. Everyone here must be purged with fire. In whatever. And what have you done? Let me invite you aboard my ship. I would like to continue our acquaintance. Thank you for the invitation. Accepted. Glad they will arrive in my shuttle in a little while. While you excuse me, I would like to be alone for the time being. That's fine. Still taking all this shit. Precision las pistol, noble sword. We'll be taking. No, we're not gonna be using that. Proved armored body glove. You are gonna be wearing that. This. A Toby pattern las gun. Alright. Normal las guns can fuck off. This. Your eyes run to the shards in Norseland scattered along the broken device. At first, you were uncertain as to what troubles you. Suddenly, the realization hits you. The glass shimmers in a way just the same as the way the shards of the unknown broken object you found near Theodore von Valchius' desk. What's the matter, Lord Captain? Why are you so interested in the Imperium Saints? It cannot be. I see it too. Whatever that thing is in her study. Whatever that thing in her study was, it was made of the same material as this junk. What? It's a mistake. Slander meant to blemish the good name of the person who is now dead and cannot even defend herself. First, those minions of the archenemy murder Lord Captain Theodora, and now this cannot be tolerated. It will not be tolerated. Come on now, Aberlord. Remember what she was like? Dale's smile betrayed her grief, but at the same time it is strangely knowing, brazen, assertive. It is like her entire life was a race against fate until fate caught up with her in the end. She would have gone headfirst into the black hole. She had thought it would put her even one step ahead of everyone else in the expanse. If we could just find out what she was keeping in her desk and why she went to get it during the attack. How bitter it is to know that you were born from bad blood, but do not let this knowledge drag you into darkness. Perception. The sister's words rain a genuine, sincere hope that you are blessed with a worthier fate. She does not appear to be shocked by the news of Theodora's possible heresy. Sanctimonious preachers. How dare you admonish me? We are speaking of abetting the arch enemy, a person who has tainted themselves, thus cannot justify their actions. Gentle, you will cease your since you had talked about Theodora at once, I will not allow the name of the Theodora. You're walking a fine line between outright heresy and the bearable bolter. Shut your mouth before I shut it for you. Say nothing.
I always keep my options open.
Open this. Okay.
Success is the only outcome I accept.
Was done in by poison gas. Open.
I always get the job done.
All right. Area is cleared. Give me 1 minute. That. Yeah. Well, we should have got everything. We'll double check in the barracks real fast, but do that when we come around like this.
Always keep your eye on the price.
Get Booker head back in here real fast. Yep, that's everything. Is this a way for us to open that door? Nope. Get to every different spot. It's over here. No, it's over there. It has been crushed. I have news of your lord. He is safe and in one piece. I shall receive him as a guest on my ship, so be ready. So ready your shuttle.
Rise to the top, or get left in the dust.
Return to my ship. Oh. Mission report, Lord Captain. Over the past few days, I received several messages from different debts complaining about anomalous behavior in the ship's cottages and servitors. The machine spirits are restless and rebellious. There is no Tet litany or ritual to pacification to rid them of this obscenity. The Tet priests can deal with the vessel's systems, but the servitors may make errors in their tasks, disobey orders, change the assignment rituals, or sometimes downright freeze in a trance. Captain, occurrences such as these, caused by errors in cottager calculations, have other sensible explanations. I beseech you to not take after those who whisper about the ship being cursed or possessed. Oh, don't start, old man. All these particular happenings have long since turned into local legend. A door slams shut, a lumen starts flickering. Boats have grown used to all that, so our resident ghost has decided to up the ante. I'm telling you, things are only going to get worse from here. Mr. Mats inspected the servitors and concluded that there was no danger according to the servants of the Omnissiah. Such behavior is caused either by echoes of the minds not completely eliminated, or by manifestation of the machine spirit's will. Nevertheless, the faulty servitors make the crew's task considerably more difficult, and High Fatorm Janus Downright would like to discuss how we could deal with the defective properties. He is awaiting your audience on the bridge. This is the one where they all just like kind of jump scare you. Janus. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? Inform me the problem with servitors. You see, your lordship, the ship's servitors have been many malfunctioning as of late. They violate the protocols, interrupt the tasks, observe crew members for long periods of time, and move reactively with no meaning or purpose. It nervously pulls at the luxurious frock coat as if it were uncomfortably tight. Had it been a routine Teto fault, I would have decided the fate of our servitors myself, but I deemed it necessary to notify you. I do not wish to hide such irregularities from the Lord Captain. Well, thank you. If you wish to observe the servitors' unused behavior before you decide their fate, this can be arranged. A majority of the defective units have been delivered to one of the storage departments pending your decision. Take a look at the servitors. As you wish, your lordship. When the lordship arrived on the scene, he found the servitors in the same position as they assumed after they had been corralled into the bay, all standing in long spiraling lines and facing the center of their strange formation. The moment his lordship crossed the threshold of the bay, their bodies jerked into motion, all as one, as if obeying a command. The servitors turned to face the Lord Captain. The Tetoman's tasked with overseeing the defective units even reached for their weapons, but all the servitors went still just as abruptly, staring at their lordship with vacant eyes. All present held their breath, disturbed by the sight. We waited for the Lord Captain's speech. His lordship, Ignatius, took several steps towards the servitors, demanded a report on the deactivated unit status from the Technomads, or that one of the servitors be dismantled and its components investigated. and several steps toward the servitors. The servitors, each and every one of them, stepped towards the Lord Captain in perfect unison. They mimicked his movements with frightening precision. The road trader halted in place, and after a moment's thought, waved his hand, and the servitors just as synchronously repeated the gesture as well. While the Lord Captain turned quizzically to the technomad, so did the servitors, as if mocking him. Whatever the Lord Captain did, be it an incline of the head, a wave of the hand, a step to the side, the defective units repeated it without a moment's delay or hesitation, like grotesque marionettes controlled by a non-seen puppeteer. We observed this mime unfold in distressed bafflement for nearly a minute, until the servitors finally came to a stop. Not sensing any threat from them, the Lord Captain approached. Examine the servitors. It's a high fathom. It was I who had prompted the entire inspection, and thus it was my duty to follow the Lord Captain. As we stepped closer, we noticed a fascinating irregularity. The servitors' pupils, normally still, were shaking wildly. Their bulging veins were pulsating under the copper collars. Inscribed with their past offenses, it was as if those mindless half-machines were locked in a perpetual state of extreme tension. A visible Satan technomat behind us proposed that the human souls have awakened within the servitor's body after a long slumber within their lobotomized brains. Formerly bereft of intelligence, they had attained awareness, feeling, and understanding. After a pause, the technomat added that the servitors used to function properly, and that no one had ever been able to explain the change in their behavior. His gaze still trained on the motionless but animated half-machines and half-people. The Lord Captain suddenly drew an iridescent blade, one I had seen before, and it was following some unheard command, plunged it into the nearest servitor. Stepped away from the servitors. All present held their breath, disturbed by this sight. He awaited the Lord Captain's speech. His Lordship Ignatius demanded a report. The technoman's long-winded, detailed report could have been summarized in a single key point. Despite the servitors' abnormal behavior, they were still quite capable of carrying out tasks, and therefore the circumstances did not call for their termination. All right. Dispose of the servitors so that their souls may be released, to send the servitors back to toil as they had toiled. For they have not yet paid the dues to their triumph for their past lives, and thus do not deserve clemency. Going to dogmatic. Now, where is this bastard? Montage. Not sure, so we'll head over to here. Identified void ship. Keep following, they'll pass us by, won't they? Reestablished. Let's verify the vessel's identity. Check the establishment, unknown vessel. We are receiving you. Identify yourselves. I repeat, identify yourselves. Do not tell them we're done for. This is Thunderfane. We are a merchant vessel. Do you copy? We are a private merchant vessel. Merchant vessel, of course they are. Damn my stupid head. Where did I hear this name before? Thunderfane. Why can we not identify you? Why? I don't know. What if? Certainly not. Our vessel is badly damaged. Preventing threat of invitation. Identification, we assure you. Peaceful merchant vessel Thunderfane does not require aid. Damage report. The hull breach is most likely caused by guns of a combat ship. Several compartments are leaking air. The bridge has been almost completely obliterated. 2 of the engines are critically damaged. Somebody gave them a thrashing so solid. Leslie's dad badly damaged. What happened to you? We were just flying, minding our own business, straight out of the blue and open fire. Miracle, we could get away. Emperor protected, and then more fire. Who? Void only knows. Roasted our tail. Bombed everything. The folks, our folks, are left without our help. We need to get to them. Stop playing games and explain yourself. What is your business here? And this time, I highly recommend the truth. But now you have done it. It is too late. The VOD channel is again filled with the angry whispers of several voices. Do you copy? We are the fellow of the void. We do not come here to loot, on a different business to help our own. Out of jail. Do not hurt. Please, we already had our chronos cleaned. How about striking a deal? Our hold is full of plunder, I mean goods. In case you're unaware, Lord Captain, the Fellowship of the Void is... I would weigh in destroying the vessel if I were you, although our moral aspects for the livelihood do cause some odd questions. If Fellowship of the Void remains a major supplier. Prepare for commercial exchange. So you want ship components. Jewelry. That's all I got. Is that decrease the target's dodge? Take that. Alright, so we got trading options here. Begin scan. Pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Warshin's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. This is not the countenance of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat out of a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. You may address the Lord Captain, not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb him. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence towards a higher-ranking officer will be logged in your personal file without delay. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avero requests permission to speak on the matter of extreme importance. Decide an appropriate punishment. You have 1 minute to state your business. Yes, Lord Captain, listen to my report and punish me as you wish, but all that matters is that you hear me out. This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to lower decks in order to trust the workers' strike by any means necessary, but I can convince them that the ship is on warrant, that the ship is unwarranted, and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers. It's no hurry to intervene. Let out a skeptical huff. He glanced at Sourbat, who was standing not far from him. She maintained a stony expression. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Westerland and to intervene in what's happening on lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a master on our hands. Where does the Seneschal come into all this? I shall explain. Bid you to hurry, time is running out. I will not hurry, since my competence is under scrutiny. I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done. And one of the pillars of that system is that the road trader's attention not be disturbed by trivial matters. It is Seneschal's role to ensure that I've always handled internal problems myself. So, of course, when I received information about cultists hiding in the lower decks, I took the matter into my own hands. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodore von Valsius will find refuge on her ship. You were far too heavy-handed, Seneschal. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for the entire section. It has driven people to the brink. Now there's a strike on the lower decks in Deep 4, to be precise. 3 worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation to disintegrate into an all-out insurrection. But when I report my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and trust the strike with maximum force. Master at Arms, the ship's enforcers seem to report to you, but you seem hesitant to provide your own perspective. Lord Captain, unlike the event, I respect the chain of command and realize that this is not within my right to challenge my superiors. Sourbat bows her head in Abelin's direction. However, for a moment later, a serpentine smile appears on her lips. That being said, while I entirely share Master Rand's opinion on what the fate of Department 4 deserves, I must note that this insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. Mr. Sourbat, I see you have decided to follow the Lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. On Earth and old squabble, I prefer it to be left. Sourbat, explain yourself. Ship's regulations state that the Master of Arms is responsible for resolving all matters related to the ship's enforcers. And yet, it is no secret that the Seneschal has a tendency to show partiality. Those enforcement officers who he has deemed particularly promising are at times given permission to approach him for tutelage. I can't deny Master Wern's experience and insight. The Seneschal has a record for fostering students who have indeed achieved much of the demonstrated impeccable performance. However, extending such patronage over the head of their immediate superior encourages disregard for hierarchy among your lordship's servants. Today, an enforcer goes to the Seneschal to report an order from the Master of Arms that they happen to disagree with. Tomorrow, they would go to the Lord Captain to object to the Seneschal's order. I notice a pattern in these actions. Abelard, do you wish to respond? Miss Sourbat, can you please recall an occasion where I would encourage an officer to disobey the superior, or one where I would overrule the order, or show favoritism to those who merited none? None, Seneschal. For there have been no such cases in the entire time I have served aboard this ship. If anyone did claim otherwise, I would have them pay for insulting your honor of blood. Your conduct in this regard has always been spotless. Nevertheless, given your eminent position, a simple show of attention on your part is enough to erode the propriety of junior officers, inflate their sense of self-importance, and undermine discipline. Thank you for distinguishing some of them, and know that that you distinguish some of them and know them by name is tantamount to walking around the officer's deck handing out gifts to officers who have caught your eye. It fills those you set apart with ambition and audacity. makes them stand out among the rest. Enforcers are meant to be faceless servants, fighters ready to die. Their fate entrusted to their commander and no one else, and that is their sole fundamental order. I signed you out from your peers in any way. I swear that Seneschal has never granted me any privileges, never once advocated for me nor facilitated my promotions, although he is a man who convinced me to become an officer in the first place. He has offered me extensive guidance in my service, for which I am grateful to him, and while not all my fellows receive such attention, I know of at least a dozen fine officers whom the Seneschal keeps in his sights to ensure they continue to strive. To prepare a new generation for the dynasty's servants, to instruct them, and to separate those with potential, those who have exhausted it. That is my duty as Seneschal. The ship has bays worth of pilots, enforcers, officers, technicians, and stewards whom I have raised personally. By the throne, every third person standing on this bridge right now was my student at one point. I see. Evidently, my officers are anything but a shining example of unity adherence today. I have only myself to blame, I suppose. What is Depot 4? Depot 4 is one of the poorest sections of Lower Decks. It is home to the clans of general laborers. They are not as valuable to the ship as the families who have served its specialized systems for generations. They are easily replaceable resources, and one which is now more besides giving succor to cultists and minions of the archenemy. Depot 4 is poor and troubled, but at worst that means drunken fights and illegal rot-gut brewing. We have handled the workers of Depot 4 in the past. We would have done so again. The crackdown on Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh, and another important point to bear in mind. The problem is not limited to the sector. It is located on one of the most populated Lower Decks, and everything that happens there has knock-on effects on all the neighboring sectors. What do you have to say to all this? I see no need to add anything. I acted within my remit as authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objections. I've heard enough. I will go down to Lower Decks and deal with the problem personally. This matter is not worth the Road Trader's time. Leave the bridge, and I am certain Seneschal is acting within his authority, but I will verify the soundness of his decisions for myself. Throne preserve you, Lord Captain. I thank you for your support. An enterprise bordering on the self-rhematic, but please yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you. Lord Captain, I regret that the enforcers were unable to handle the situation, which led to you and the Seneschal's involvement. I consider it my duty to go to Depot for myself and see the expedient resolution of this incident. As you wish.
Let us not dawdle.
He dies. Lower Decks are a source of endless problems. Sometimes I clearly regret that we cannot replace all of them, all the local servitors. People dared to disrespect the senior officer. They would not have had the chance to express such disrespect if we were not here and the situation had been dealt with by my relevant officers. It is a junior officer's worst failing to pass problems up the chain of command. I have never been able to abide it. I shall say it again. It was a mistake to come here on Lieutenant Ben's whim, Lord Captain. I must admit that the lieutenant is by no means the worst material of an officer. Everyone adds peevishly, but in the time of terror, the girl is But the name Teledro is the same age as my eldest great-granddaughter, and she has the gall to tell me how to manage the lower debts and hunt down cultists. It will be another 20 years at least before she can be trusted to act without oversight.
Is there money to be made?
I still do not see our purpose in coming here.
Relax, old
For the
man.
loot.
Going for a stroll on the lower decks every once in a while is good for you. Lets you see how the simple folk live.
Miscalculations are for commoners. I don't make mistakes. I make profitable learning experiences.
Alright, so this is the spot. The sound of the heated discussion reverberated through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Everovent of the ship's enforces bearing face at the superior master at arms, Jata Salabet, who has arrived clad in armor. Judging by their expressions and tone, the standoff has dragged on for some time already, and has now reached a boiling point. Lieutenant Vent, my patience is wearing thin. I have given you an order, now get out of my way. I cannot comply with that order, ma'am. This is my debt to my sector, so long as this area remains under the Lord Captain's special oversight. No action to be taken without my express permission. There are only 3 people who have the authority to make me stand down: the first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. So now all my lessons fall on deaf ears. In crowd approval, he does not clarify whether he means Vent Sauerbat looming over her, or both. Your Lordship, noticing you, the 2 officers snap to attention and salute their subordinates, following suit a moment later. We encountered some locals on our way here. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us. The people are getting desperate, clearly. They saw the assault unit, and they decided they had nothing left to lose. I mean, I apologize, Lord Captain. It's outrageous. I'm sure this people simply didn't recognize you. I wouldn't have occurred otherwise. We will deal with them once the current situation is resolved. Is that all you have to say? Are you sure you're worthy of an officer's rank, Lieutenant Vent? Forgive me, Lord Captain. I will take steps to ensure such things does not happen again. I want to speak to the strikers. Mouth twists, but he restrains himself and says nothing. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck. I know you're not happy, Abelard.
I always have a backup plan. Always keep your eye on the prize.
Something to do with those valves. I just don't remember what exactly. I think it has to do with this door.
We should deal with this.
Can it be seen beyond the massive bars? Perhaps examining the pipe will allow you to reach it. Do you mean examining the pipe?
to take risks.
Above the thundering guns. Rotator and 2 random allies start combat with temporary wounds equal to their own resolve.
Keep your wits about you.
And down here. Does a pair of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower depths. You take their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation. From the barely discernible to the strange and outright grotesque. Splash to the crowd, and you detect a mixture of fear, astonishment, and joy in the reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd. An elderly woman and 2 men. There must be leaders. They bow clumsily before you. Lord Captain, you have come to us. We are tapped on the way here. How do you explain that? Here's the next place for you. The people have been pushed to their limit, and now they're lashing out. And if we don't know why these top-deck units are being sent down here, like that one there, then the lieutenant won't let us pass. That the lieutenant won't let pass. We don't know, as if we don't know why top-deck units. Commands are all inside the bay have been sealed off, but the lower decks are bid. I'm sure there are people who have had about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers are encircling the ones who've risen up. A death squad just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out. The words seem sincere to you. Their body language and their glances traded between them reveal the news the attack has shocked them. Striking. That's news to us, your lordship. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Rivet, snaps the old woman. She turns her hostile dark eyes on you. Here's the deal, lordship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here. They say you're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching for their batons. If they want to punish someone, then turn off the heating for the whole base for a week at a time. So we didn't sit and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of those enforcers. The old woman spits on the floor and rubs on the spittle with the toe of her worn-out shoe. Does not interrupt the workers, but she sees the sadness well in her eyes when the children's death are mentioned. She quietly whispers a Requiem prayer and makes a sign over herself. It is all true. Vent is the only enforcer officer who stood up for us. It's clear as day, who had a mother from the lower decks and who grew up amidship and has no fellow feelings towards us. The grim man with the scarred face throws his arms up. Your lordship, there is no villains here. You're honest workers, your servants. We plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly, and now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. The persecutions started a props of nothing, you say? I would take the ones who found... I was told one of you was found with possessing a cultist amulet, that there are heretics hiding here. Cultist amulet, what's that? The G-doll they found on the dead drunkard? If it was something evil forbidden, we sure didn't know. The enforcers just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation will be punished. But how could we be heretics here? We know our own people, and there've been no new faces around. Definitely not, and if there were, we'd be the first to report them. And as for the amulet or whatever it is, they took it off a dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure. But when that fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted their bodies. The boots they came back with, nobody ever tread those Detson boots so fine, I can tell you that. Seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us. Well, those boots really were fine. And there was no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, I must have been It must have been implanted by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets around here. We all worship the Emperor, and we're working. And we're working. We bow. And when we're working, we bow down to the machine spirits of the large and small transformers and the servo motor. The same way my grandfather taught 100 years ago by a Tet priest who came calling, "Believe us, your lordship. We are people of faith." Naive children. Weren't you taught from an early age about the danger of the archenemy's creation? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them? We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I had my third little one. That's regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when the beasts crawl out of those amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father, who was not there, or the scavengers who brought evil down upon himself and the neighbors? Aberlin, do you have anything to add? I authorize the use of all necessary measures to locate Chaos Worshippers hiding in the sector. The specific steps taken by the officers were not reported to me. Aberlin frowns, clearly disgruntled at having to explain himself in the workers' presence. Nevertheless, I am certain that their actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken stevedores. They are the enemy and a threat to the demanding Neutralizing them demanding actions. It's really necessary to torture these people with cold. The rebel understands only one language, Lord Captain, that of violence. As per regulation, should the laborers persist in their unwillingness to cooperate, the next step is limiting the air supply and cutting off water, which is almost certain to restore order. The peasants can grumble all they want, but in the end, they are sources of their own misery. All they have to do is bow their heads and fall in line, and the need for punitive measures will disappear. What changes do you want? Would you let this excellent Lord Captain himself is asking us, bile rats, what we want? Well, here's what we want. You to rein in your damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat, and to stop battering everyone that moves. No, that's not it. We want enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms, and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if these cultists show their faces. I've been leader of my own clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of those club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. Gone too far, old man. They'll never let us magics on the lower decks live without enforcers breathing down our necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks, too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day's out, we'll have someone shooting their neighbor out of stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultist's body. We'll talk to them. One of the lower decks to another. If there's any more of those damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. You speak for yourself and your clan. I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures. I want real change. They promise us the world now, but as soon as the anointed one turns its back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before, all because we dared to speak out. The tall worker's eyes dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds he opens his mouth as planning to agree, but every time he falls silent, simply making a vague noise in approval. Granted, their ship is the first step towards embracing chaos. Putting weapons in the untrained hands would be even worse. What more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Withdraw those demands and we will consider the rest. Thoughts, Abelard. Story about doing scavenge for boots and accidentally picking up heretical amulets doesn't convince me these people are moments away from rebelling and possibly becoming minions of the archenemy. We must not give them what they want, even if they did acquire something innocent purely out of their own stupidity. That does not mean they are not tainted with corruption. You are right. We didn't just petty thievery, but can turn into far greater problems. I've seen it before. Giving the rabble a grotz, and they will take an Adri world, Lord Captain. They only understand brute force and will interpret the concessions as a sign of weakness. Giving them weapons and recalling enforcers would be a folly. It would only be a matter of time before we had a full-scale mutiny on our hands. We may consider the rest. Well then, listen. Lord Captain himself has come down to us offering concessions. I do not know a single person in the whole Deep before would ever stood next to the road traitor, let alone talk to them. Bat down now, no time for the stubborn old crone. Listen to us, old man. The 3 clans of Deep before ought to act as one. We've made our minds up. You two are gaining up on me, is that it? The brave, so brave you are against an old woman, but I'll shut up. I will indeed. I won't go against 2 clan leaders on my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace. Pursuit will stop, and I will expect you to assist in locating the remaining ambulance. Everyone involved will be eliminated. I swear my loyalty to you. I beg you have mercy. It gives a signal and the first, as if the first, gives a signal and is the first to raise her weapon. Yes, Lord Captain. You want to mow down everyone deep before you can start with me. Vent, stop. This is treason. Sorry, I've let everyone down. It's not clear who her words refer to.
You will beg for mercy, but I will grant none. You will fall!
I can handle this.
Start the battle.
Break their morale!
Off to the side.
Anything else?
I want you to instantly pop.
But of course.
Pop on him.
Stay vigilant! Death to the heretics! Follow my lead!
Blasted your own guy.
Not falter.
Weapon at the ready.
Who even taught you to fight like this?
Oop.
It's as good as your end was inevitable.
Well, that's only a couple left.
Follow my lead. It will be done. I will do my duty. No matter the cost.
And end this.
Reduced to dust. I've seen worse battles than this in my time.
Didn't realize there was still one left.
It will be done. One fewer time.
There's a level. Air of Authority. There's all ally who immediately recovers from burning, bleeding, toxin, and stunned effects. target allies who have enemies adjacent to them until the start of the officer's next turn. All melee attacks made by the target deal additional damage equal to 1 multiplied by the number of enemies adjacent to the target when this ability is used. Just a fellowship bonus, the target can only use movement points, heroic acts, or desperate measures during the extra turn. Pick up shield mastery. I just need to get a shield. Pick up some weapon skill. All allies, excluding Xenos, in the current party gain +5 to the same characteristics as was chosen for humanity's finest. Powers are used by pious psychers to protect allies that smite heretics. In an area that lasts until the start of the psychic's next turn, all allies within the area gain plus its dodge cannot be less than 12%. Once its intelligence, perception, fellows, and willpower until the end of combat. I'm pretty sure Lord Warp. Increase perception. Fighting a lot of heretics. Ooh, Confederate autogun. Shot baton. The actual flat armor is better.
Attention to detail is the key to success.
That's how it's done.
So the steam pressure in this pipe is close to the maximum, however, it does not reach the bar.
Let us not dawdle.
One sec, I'll be right back. Puzzles. Right. It's right there. That one did something.
Rise to the top or get left in the dust.
Can't turn that one again. It's over there. Other valve. Should be one over. Yeah, there's a couple over here. There we go. Not that one.
Just as I planned. I always have a backup plan.
No way, that was all of them, right? It's like a room or something over here I need to get into.
Always keep your eye on the prize.
I do not know if that's actually an area I can go to or not, but either way, we top the lock. Can't go up through that way. Apparently I'm not allowed to use that elevator. I have to use this elevator. I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You made a harsh but unnecessary decision, but before you are danced to tune of a panicked junior officer, you put your life at unnecessary risk in the midst of a potential uprising, and your action triggered everything that followed. If you hadn't given Lieutenant Bent false hope and then snatched it away, she wouldn't have snapped. You had no business going anywhere near the lower decks. Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valchius Protectorate? There is some truth in your criticism. I should say so. He uses a sigh, but he visibly answers, you simply needed to trust me. But I handled the situation myself. Had you not decided to intervene? Remember Lord Captain Theodora? Do you think she ever once slipped foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and junior officers while she dedicated herself to her grand designs for the Protectorate, as any true strategist and road trader ought. I would be only too willing to trust in my seneschal and not fill my head with such matters, but the situation had spiraled out of control, Everland. You're right. At least that's concerned junior officers making complaints directly to you. And I lost my temper, Lord Captain, and I believe I ought to explain myself. Tell the prosperity of the Von Valchius Protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for a chance to see it flourish. It is the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodora's deeds the signs of true greatness, road trader. Do not simply forge new routes and capture roads. They create order out of anarchy. They create impulse. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known. I come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture, Lord Captain. Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods to distant frontiers on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire Protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then suddenly, everything that had been built over the years began to quake, rattle like a flimsy hanger on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all, the road trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planets. I tell you this honestly, without fear of appearing weak. All this has come as a grievous blow to me. I am not panicking, nor grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty-bound to aid the new road trader, to aid you, to find footing as quickly as possible, and to do that, I must insulate you from the problems that, in the past, have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that have been established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed access to requirements. Cannot suddenly be deemed access to requirements. Theodora trusted you with established procedures, and she died. Then we need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Captain and road trader, accept it, and start living the new world, a world where Theodora is gone, and there is a new and I have new decisions to make. It's just important to me. You are the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how things are run on the ship. I think the future I'll follow your recommendation. Freedom, I trust this situation is an aberration in the ship's otherwise smooth operations. Since the established procedures are working, I see no reason to change them. Set to man handwriting in recent days. Very little competence. I have no plan to rely on your judgment or your tired and tested procedures. I'll follow your recommendations. Tips and incentive ascent, the shadow of incredible strain, which evidently had been wearing on him for some time, finally lifts from his face. I am glad to see the value of the foundations laid down by your illustrious predecessor. Why fix what isn't broken? As for me, I shall endeavor not to cause you any further consternation, Lord Captain. Continue. Now please, let us leave the lower decks. If the rogue trader desires to stretch his legs, there are far more suitable places. When the Herald and Navis Nobility continue to maintain bot silence, perhaps due to Arat 5 being off limits to visitors. We interrupted signals from the beacons drifting in the station's orbit. The demands are clear. We are told to turn the ship around immediately. Order the Otter True to scan the station. The officers from the Otter True perform a full scan of the station, but the information is imprecise. They note wave distortions of unclear genesis that are throwing off most of the readings. We were able to ascertain that the reactor's core in the station is still active, but many compartments are unpowered and fully depressurized. Signs of biological activity are largely present in the central modules, which means the station has not been abandoned. So the question remains, what is the esteemed navigator heralds ignoring us? Contact the station. I would negotiate personally. Order the True commence docking procedures. The walls are bleeding again. Oh fuck! That wall has blinking eyes.
Pathetic worm. You dare to argue with your master?
It was not you whom I swore to serve within these walls. My lips are sealed.
Confess. What was the old man's last command? What are you planning?
Give up, Keeper. You have lost this battle. Again.
We're getting nowhere with these ones, sir. Permission to execute them.
Be constant oblivion as your transaction in his house, Aurelicio. Mortal Emperor, deliver your servants from peril. Prayers will not help you, servants of the damned. And to execute these infidels. A step further. You don't give me commands. Step back, or unleash the horrors of the sea as souls upon you. Emperor, be my witness. Abelard, if you would be so kind. Before you stands his lordship, the rogue trader Ignatius. heir to the greatest protectorate in the Tronos Expanse, and bearer of the sacred warrant of trade. Allow me to point out the nobility custom required the Lord Navigators to introduce himself first, but given the unusual circumstances of the situation, his lordship, the road trader, is willing to turn a blind eye to your hostility, but just this once. In that case, I also turn a blind eye to your unceremonious invasion, but just this once. Very well. Allow me to introduce myself. Before you stands Fellet Christopher Alder, keeper of this place. So you did not arrive to offer support to the traitors. That is great news. Having said that, you must understand that Uret 5 is a holy saint of the House Aurelio, and the path is only revealed to a select few. It pains me to say you are not on the guest list. Navigator looks at his guard and winces. The soldiers are quivering as a tormented flesh have been as if their tormented flesh were being flayed, yet they keep clutching their weapons. For a Lord Inquisitor and Caretaker, one Helitz von Kalitz. Do you know anything of his present location? Lord Inquisitor's Interrogator, I think I would know such an important individual, decided to pay a visit. Why would a keeper of the station command vile mutants condemned by the Emperor? The blame lies with Theodore also, the second keeper of Uret 5. The old man was a great navigator, but he could no longer control his powers. I begged him to retire, but he was too obsessed with our mistress, Lady Cassia. His madness and stubbornness spelled doom for the entire station. For he opened his third eye, and fit of rage unleashed the horrors of the war upon those who displeased him. Theobald, I knew, would never have used his powers in such a reckless manner. This would be difficult to explain to the uninitiated, but I'm going to try. The rip torrents in the system have been tumultuous for dozens of cycles and have worn the veil between our world and the materium thin and frail. At least here on the station, the ruinous powers are trying to tear it down completely and corrupt all living beings. The servants were the first to fall victim to it. Oh, their bodies morphed, the pain and despair drove their poor souls mad. The lunatics took their mistress prisoner and almost destroyed the station. But I rallied the few who still followed the light of the Golden Throne to set things right. Lord Navigator here speaking in unvarnished truth. I bet the station is full of voices and whispers, all trying to break through from the other side, waiting for you to reach out and swing the door wide open. Silly hope the influence of the Immaterium has not yet affected your body and your soul. With all due respect, I advise you not to remain on the station. Return to your void ship. I need to save Lady Cassia. If you are not willing to help or indeed risk your life, you must leave now. What kind of help are you talking about? Whenever asked you for such a favor under different circumstances, and yet Bella takes his hand away from his ribcage, notices blood and winces in pain, and yet Lady Cassia's well-being is above all. I haven't got many people left. My wounds are too deep for me to act with precision and swiftness, but you may actually succeed. In order to ascend the mistress's chambers, you would need to remake a holy relic, sanctified in the blood of Lady Aurelio herself. This is a control rod of the elevator's machine spirit. I have one part while the other was lost during the mutiny, but even the relic will be no use unless the elevator mechanism is powered. How am I supposed to power the elevator? Takes its cogitators on the ground floor. I have phylactery containing the... A phylactery? I have a phylactery containing the mistress's blood. I need it to be taken to the laboratory, which is located behind one of the reliquary doors. The most ancient sacred mechanisms will help you rebuild the rod. The Tet priests ceaselessly perform the rites of appeasement so that the machine spirit would serve the house in its time of need. The fateful hour is now upon us. I guess that made sense. So you've decided, descendant of Von Valsius. Set the balance of power in this part of the galaxy. I will help you. It will be an honor to save Lady Navigator from her woes. Rescue the Mistress, but in turn I will trade that House Aurelio sent a contract with my protectorate. So be it. Loot, 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 loot! Loot!
Keep your wits about you.
White. Bright, pure color. And it's all riddled with horrible veins that carry the poison of fear and pain throughout its body. Who are you?
Plaudits.
Why are you crying?
If the witch is talking about the enemies of humanity who set upon this abode of noble navigators, then our weapons will soon dispel their wicked misery.
Servant.
Success is the only outcome I accept.
These unfortunate souls with their own lives, slicing their own guts wide open. Unpleasant. Mass disembowelment. Most unpleasant. Mutated flesh sample. Meteorite shunt. I mean, we are talking about Owlcat here. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like some random bullshit that's never gonna get used. Like the golden toad statue from Pathfinder. Protect the child. Protect the child. Oh god, they raised the dead.
Your arrogance will be your downfall.
Death to his enemies!
You go there. I'll go here. Go there.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone! I'll do it.
Concentrate fire.
As the Emperor commands, I eradicate it.
Perfect.
My faith strengthens me. Follow my lead.
Put that on him. Boost him right on up. Pop him.
Farewell. Onward!
Break their morale.
Moving out!
Stay vigilant.
I'm not injured. I'm enraged.
Follow my lead.
Just a minor setback.
Weather the storm! Follow my lead!
Pain cleanses the body.
Yes.
You all fall before my might.
At your beck and call.
That had better be ineptitude, not malice.
You're fine.
I'll make it happen.
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones.
Move to there.
I will
Charge
do
in.
my duty. I took care of this one. Indeed.
Godson, switch back to your melee.
Follow my lead.
Concentrate fire.
I am his will made manifest. Doubt is for the
And
weak.
them.
I'll do it.
Got one more. One way the fuck over there.
Faith
That's a
without
better
zeal
shot.
is worthless. Guided by faith.
One more shot in. When to the fat until the end of combat, the soldier gains the following bonus.
As the Emperor commands.
Good shot.
Weapon at the ready.
Cover me.
Will do.
Fucking up.
What an unfortunate turn of fate.
Alright. Good.
My faith strengthens me.
I'll see to it personally.
Well, there goes your cover.
I'll make it happen.
Kill him. Oh, he parried.
Victory is imminent. It will be done.
I'll see to it personally.
Form your maximum. Get that fucking twat down.
At your beck and call.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury. Each strike is a prayer.
Good kill. Got a level. Requires air of authority. Perception and ballistic skill. Ability, gain a bonus to their weapon skill equal to 6 and will deal 3 plus more damage attack of opportunities until the start of the... Yes. Bit of some commerce. It's +1 deflection to the parry chance and increased by 25% of the warrior's total armor. Tell me what level you are. Level 7. Something additional +3 damage. Enemies that have failed a willpower resistance sets against any of the Citrus-headed powers will suffer an additional +8 direct damage every time they suffer mental damage until the end of combat. Rapid reload. Awareness. His shit. Pick up their shit. That way for goods. Goods in here. Navigator flesh sample.
Yvain's act was noble but foolhardy. You cannot save someone who has willingly succumbed to heresy.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
Mars pattern sword, 8 to 13.
Failure is just a temporary setback.
Nothing's impossible for this old officer.
Okay, so I don't see
Is there
anything
money to be
in
made?
there. Okay, so there's only one.
I won't let it define me.
Throw Holy Aquila.
always keep your eye on the prize.
Select all that. Come over here, this door.
That's how it's done. I always get the job done.
Need all the goods. A lawn las. Oh shit, I forgot. I picked this up specifically for you.
Keep your wits about you.
This door we could open. No. Which in the agitator. Shit. Main chamber controls. Open all doors on the level. Activate the elevator. There's something in one of these. It was about the main dude we just talked to. Cryptid.
I always keep my options open.
Alright. Put it all up there. Thank you guys